rings around Twickenham ahead of a rugby rivalry with all the necessary ingredients and some. England against South Africa. They met most recently here 53 weeks ago, and back then England scraped home by a single point. As always, when it comes to these passionate rugby nations, there's been plenty going on around the edges to lighten up the phony war period before the Test match. For England, it's been how to assess the remarkable draw here against the All Blacks. When it comes to South Africa, it's the role played by their director of rugby, Rassie Erasmus, whose presence will be felt here this evening, even if he himself is absent. For the second straight weekend, as it was for the All Blacks Test, it's an early evening kick-off. It's just after 5:20 here in London. The conditions are good at the moment. There is a chance of rain over the course of the next couple of hours. Here is the head-to-head record between England and South Africa. The Springboks dominant, and they have a habit of winning the tests that matter. South Africa having beaten England in 2 World Cup finals. The rivalry, a good deal more even when played out in this part of the world. In fact, they can't be separated, though it's worth noting England have won the last 3 tests between the two at Twickenham. The Boks haven't been victorious here against England since 2014, although it's worth making the point that the Springboks did win a World Cup quarter-final here in 2015, a notable match against Wales. Well, welcome wherever you're watching in the world. I'm Martin Gillingham. Alongside me, the former England scrum half, Dowie Morris. Well, let's talk about South Africa first, Dowie.
Yeah.
Mixed year for them. Narrow defeats this month by Ireland and France. They did beat Italy last weekend. But how much would their pride be dented with another loss against a side capable of ripping away their global crown in France next year?
It's the old enemy, isn't it? South Africa in town, and everyone wants to come to Twickenham and they want to win. I mean, going back to that game 12 months ago, England gave away 18 penalties to South Africa's 8, of which 7 were kicked by South Africa. And there's a point in that actually their kicker today isn't that, his percentage isn't that high. So it'll come down again to the pack. It'll come down to the piano shifters rather than the piano players. These guys in front, they will set the tone. And I was watching South Africa out there. They got into the corner for 5 minutes. They're caught in drive. It's the power game and it's the punch game from them.
Siya Kolisi, the Springboks captain on the left, who's never won a Test match here. Owen Farrell just waiting for Mana Tuolangi to be pushed through to the front. It's a real milestone for him. There he goes. He becomes the 60th Englishman to earn his 50th cap. Having said that, there's only one man who's taken longer to get the 50 caps. That was Simon Shaw. It's taken Mana Tuolangi more than 11 years. Owen Farrell, he went through the pain barrier last weekend to steer England to a remarkable draw. This is 101st Test match for England. As for the men in green and gold, well, there are not many players in the game who command the same level of respect as Siya Kolisi. He leads out his country for the 45th time. A country with a unique history, and a team which 3 decades on from its own cultural revolution provides a beacon of inspiration and hope to an entire nation. Will Stewart then, the unlikely hero last weekend. Eben Etzebeth, himself a Test match centurion. Now the anthems, starting with Nkosi Sikeleli, Africa.
gracious King, long live our noble King. God save the King. Send him victorious, glorious, long to reign over us. God save the King.
Well, Eddie Jones started the month praising the importance of his two vice-captains, Ellis Genge and Jack Nowell, but the England coach's final selection act of the year is to relegate them to the bench. Mako Vunipola starts a test match for the first time since the Lions tour of South Africa more than a year ago. Jamie George is at hooker. Alex Cole's his third test in a third different role. Just one alteration to the back line. Nowell's place on the wing goes to the Northampton youngster Tommy Freeman. Jeff Van Portley is retained at scrum half. Well, the Springboks have been forced into changes because of the unavailability of players contracted to European clubs. They include Jasper Wiese, who has returned to Leicester, which means Evan Roos gets a chance to bring his best Stormers form to the Test arena. We know Cheslin Colby, Makazole Mpimpi and Kurtley Arendse are the wings. Jesse Creel is back in the starting 15, which allows Damien Delindi to return to inside centre. Faf de Klerk and Damien Willemse continue at 9 and 10. Now these are the replacements. Super sub Will Stewart wears 18 again for England. Thomas du Toit, Marco van Staden and Kanan Moody get their first time in the box 23 on this tour. Well, Dowie, in terms of England, 70 minutes of mediocrity followed by 10 minutes of magnificence against the All Blacks. They're not going to get away with something similar here, are they?
No, they're not, and they know that. I think that it was celebration, obviously, the final whistle when they got that draw, but I think it was total relief. They did well to come back, but where were they for 73 minutes? They cannot afford to play like that against the Bokke today.
Maro Itoje, described this week by Eddie Jones as, at his best, defensively, the best player in the world. Angus Gardner, familiar face to both teams, particularly South Africa. He took charge of South Africa's first ever defeat by Wales in Bloemfontein in July. Mind you, he was also there
5 seconds to go
when the Springboks beat New Zealand at Nelspruit in the Rugby Championship.
Okay, time on.
The stakes high for both teams. England have won just twice this year at Twickenham. A failure to add to that here would prompt some pretty cruel headlines on the UK sports pages tomorrow. As for the world champions, well, for all the encouragement the Boks drew from close encounters in Dublin and Marseille, defeat here would be their third in 4 weekends, and that would leave their reputation severely diminished. Doesn't drop many of those, Freddie Stewart, and he starts his night off as he would like it to continue. And Portfleet on there to Vunipola.
Well, that's the first box kick, and it won't be the last on both sides. Kicking very, very important for territory. And there's one for Marcus Smith.
Billy le Roux on there to Damien Willemse. Back to le Roux. A carry for Evan Roos, and he's stripped. And look here at Sinclair. Inside the Springboks 22. The ball is out and it's been stolen by South Africa. And that was timely. Not the sort of start that Evan Roos will be looking for. He was an absolute revelation in the United Rugby Championship last season, so just a matter of months ago. Didn't stand out as many Springboks didn't in that defeat by Wales at Bloemfontein in July. But he gets another opportunity here with Wiese having been called back to the East Midlands of England to play in the Gallagher Premiership. Marcus Smith, another tester. You can fire those all day at Billy le Roux. Here's Kurtley Arendse. He's been an incredible success story this year for South Africa. Arendse earning his 7th cap here. And at the moment, well, it's not quite Will Jordan-esque, who has scored 21 tries in 21 tests for New Zealand, but Arendse's got 6 from 6 so far. Faf de Klerk Another one for Stewart, and that is very uncharacteristic.
There was a gasp around Twickenham, very, very uncharacteristic there. He can't believe it himself, but again, that's why your box cat can put pressure on even the safest pair of hands, straight through. And again, that's a gain now of 35, 40 metres. That's why you do the box cat. That's why you put the ball up in the air for 3 to 4 seconds and chase as hard as you can. Now they're in a good position on the field. South Africa, they can launch all sorts from this. Roos can come off the blind, from the sort of blind to the open side at 8. Faf de Klerk will have all these moves in his mind.
Control
You
your
can
way.
see the
Control and take.
Creel and
Lines, not on the
Billy
shoulder,
LaRue
please.
in the midfield now. Options, all areas.
Well, Eddie Jones said in the last hour that he believes England will have a competitive edge, to use his words, in the scrum. That's quite a bold claim when you've got that very powerful front five. And, of course, the so-called bomb squad waiting to come off the bench.
Pulling back.
Well, the first free kick
Number 3, take the hit.
goes to the men in green and gold, and it's Kyle Sinclair.
Next one will be a penalty if I see you fade back on the hit. Don't
you
fade
heard
back
that?
on the hit.
Oxen Che, there he is.
Listen, the message
the
is,
shark getting the better of
don't fade back on
Bristol's
the hit.
Kyle
No
Sinclair.
silliness, please.
Sometimes they try to front rows try to con the referee by just pulling back a little bit. But again, having none of it. Angus Gardner today. But this is a key area. I don't know whether England, if they've got an edge, it's just to get parity with these guys. They live and breathe the scrum. That's what they did. Outdid England in the end, wasn't it, in the World Cup final? When they played brilliantly against New Zealand that semi, you thought for all love and money they were going to go and win that. But the South African front row and the 8 had a different idea.
This test match, the last in the Autumn Nation series, though it's taking place outside the so-called international window, and South Africa do get a penalty.
Again, that's come from the scrum. As obviously Angus Gardner's got help from the touch judge.
Shot.
There's Mako Vunipola, like I said, starting a test match for some time. He normally comes on, adds his weight in that second half.
It's pretty clear for me.
This is it.
What's
I think
that?
it's on the other way. No, again.
Yeah, your guy just come in on the side. And
I'm
put
no
straight
expert.
down. As we
The
came
referee,
around, your
touch
guy
judge
just
think
folded
they
straight
are.
in.
Lyle Sinclair doesn't
Yeah.
like it. No prop likes it when they've got a penalty against them. And this will be interesting. If Faf de Klerk, he's the kicker today so far. And it's right out there on that left-hand side.
Well, South Africa have had 4 different place kickers in the 3 test matches before this one. And started off with Damien Willemse. He didn't last terribly long before Cheslin Colby moved in. Faf de Klerk has had a few shots at goal himself, as well as Manie Libbok, who is probably the most qualified off the kicking tee on this tour. No Andre Pollard, who we understand is now nursing a calf injury, and well, that was never close, and there's no doubt that that could be something that might just haunt the Springboks tonight. Jacques Nienaber, there he is, the coach.
Well, as I said in that game 12 months ago, almost to the date, 18 pens England gave away, 7 of which South Africa kicked. And that's why the score was so close. In the end, England has scored 3 tries to 1. They get a penalty here, so it gets a little bit worse for South Africa. They should have had 3 points. It was kickable from a frontline kicker, but Faf de Klerk isn't. Richard Cockerell, he's applauding that. That's the way to put pressure on sides, build the pressure.
Yes, Richard Cockerell has been talking this week about his relationship with Mana Tuilagi, going back to the days when Richard Cockerell was director of rugby and coach at Leicester Tigers, and Mana Tuilagi, who first really came to public notice in one of those midweek games when a South African second string played at Welford Road against Leicester, and Tuilagi was in great form. Right on cue, there he is. The arm is out from the referee, so there is a penalty advantage to England. Oh, that was neat from Itoje, and then Faf de Klerk with what looks suspiciously like a deliberate knockdown.
It's quite noticeable as well, the speed that England are trying to get this ball into the lineup from Jamie George. They're up in the pace. Hence they were caught offside, South Africa. They just got off the line too quickly. So that's something to look forward to. From an England point of view, is actually they're not messing around. Itoje knows the call. He's giving it to Jamie George. That ball goes in.
Penalty back there if you'd like it. Well, this one.
And that's what the penalty is. Angus Gardner saying they've just come up too quickly in the line, the defensive line. And this is very, very kickable for Farrell. He's still 100%, isn't he, Martin, with his kicks?
Yeah.
He is 7 from 7 on the opening weekend in defeat by Argentina. He repeated that, 7 from 7 in the rout of Japan, and then 1 from 1 last week. Remember, he picked up that injury and handed over the kicking duties to Marcus Smith. So he is 15 from 15 this month. In Test rugby, such an important part of the game. Nice way to start for a kicker though, Farrell, with those familiar idiosyncrasies. Focusing here not on the post, but a point in the stand, somewhere round about the Africa of South Africa, I would suggest. Well, flag stay down. His first miss.
Have you got an eraser? Well, I've already put it in my book.
Well, we've seen Freddie Stewart drop one, and we've now seen Owen Farrell miss one.
Yeah, okay.
Well. Is the magic dust going to fall this time on Twickenham or not on Eddie Jones's side? It's 2 bad mistakes.
Billy Vunipola being met by Marvin Orrie. They're wearing the protective headgear. Johnny Hill up to halfway. 9 minutes gone. Still waiting for our first points. Marcus Smith.
On now.
Billy LaRue. LaRue, who was left out of the starting 15 for the first 5 test matches of the South Africa season, rather like Faf de Klerk, but it served a little reminder that nobody's guaranteed a spot in Junk Nienaber's team. And as we've learnt this month, so much that is good about South African rugby comes through the hands of Billy LaRue. That went up very high, as did Damian Willemse, but he lost it forward. Chance now perhaps for England, but it's all a bit untidy. Arendse just got his fingers to that, but we've seen too many knocks on. Tommy Freeman, perhaps unfamiliar with Twickenham when it's this full and this noisy. Couldn't hear the referee's whistle.
It echoes a little bit. I think the crowd are just desperate for something to happen here. A quick early score. They don't want to go through that what they went through last week. Those first 73 minutes anyway. You can see the ball eventually does go forward. It's okay. The referee said play on. It was actually, I think it was nice for Freeman just to get the ball in his hand, because obviously he'll be feeling the nerves. Stewart, as he said, an uncharacteristic error earlier on, dropping a ball. But again, Marcus Smith is just finding his way out there. He did put that ball up to Billy LaRue, which he had plenty of time to mark. It really a kick to nothing. It's always a kick to compete. That's when you can actually have a chance of winning it back.
Take the water break.
Well, we've got a brief interlude here. Well, there's a drinks break and just checking on the fitness of 1 or 2 players. And we've just had some very sad news come through. Doddy Weir, Scotland international, who we know has been suffering and battling bravely with motor neuron disease. Well, the sad news is that unfortunately he has just died. That news being made public in the last few minutes. Memories of a great rugby man.
Just a reminder, straight through, no shit, please, all right?
Quite emotional, actually.
Mark Pierre, time back on.
I'd always have a pint with him. Gary Armstrong, myself, 2 scrum halves, and Johnny'd always find his way into our conversation and try and tell us what we were doing wrong and right. But a horrible disease, and an incredible gentleman, fantastic actor in the speaker, and just lovely in our thoughts, obviously, with the family.
No pre-engage. Yeah. No.
It's fatal urine disease, something that South African rugby very familiar with, of course,
when
with
you're
the
too far away, you just overextend and collapse, all right? Okay?
struggles of Jos van der Westhuizen, the World Cup winner back in 1995.
I think you need to come closer. I'm happy there. Okay? So it's a gap on the bind, boys. Come on, mate. Come on. Yeah.
And we're just dwelling there on Malcolm Marx
Krauts!
at the heart of
Bind!
the famed bomb squad, which is maybe one light today. Vincent Koch has returned to his club in France.
See, this is my, again, area of discomfort. How much time do we waste?
Okay?
Again, this is where the clock should be stopped. I know it's an important area and it's a big male macho thing for these lads of mine. Look, I know I put a ball into a few thousand scrums but never prop, but they do waste a lot of time. People have paid a good amount of money to come and see a good, exhilarating game of rugby. So something needs to be done. There you go, this is my soapbox moment.
Bind!
So Jack van Poortvliet, who had a test match to forget last week, but Eddie Jones returning faith, and England do earn a penalty at the set piece. That goes against Frans Malherbe.
Straight in and down.
Well, he's saying he's gone straight in and down, but if you again, the ball doesn't go. See, again, another thing, the scrum half just whaps it into the number 8's feet, so actually England could go. That's just been turned in. Is it Mako?
Straight in and down for
Jeremy
me.
George is right at the bottom of that. I think it's Mako Vernopolo again.
Yeah, tight head overextended, straight in and down.
I think Mana knows what's going on. As we see a little bit of rain falling, you were right with your forecast, Martin.
Yeah, I don't want to see that bind come down.
There isn't a heavy amount due, but again, it will grease up the playing surface. And that's from Mako. He actually slipped in when he was taken in? He hurt his left elbow by the looks of things, but again, he'll wear that has a badge of honour. Winning 3 points now, Mr. Farrell. I won't write it down this time.
Well, the first one was pretty much straight in front. It's not a whole lot different. And at the risk of tempting fate, he doesn't miss two on the bounce terribly often. The England captain opens the scoring. 13 minutes gone. The men in white lead by 3 points to 0. Little shake of the head. That does at least in part atone for the earlier miss. Mako Vunipola strapped up. There is a very strong suggestion, indication that Ellis Genge being stuck on the bench is very much a tactical decision to try and cancel out the impact that the bomb squad will have when they arrive.
No.
There's Van Poortvliet. Willemse, who started off the season playing at fullback. There's Eben Etzebeth.
It's a great hit again. Mario Itoje started this game very, very well. He stripped the ball early on. Peerless in the line out, and again, they just knew that Etzebeth was going to take that up, and there was 2 or 3 of them in there. Johnny Hill needs a big game beside it, but also I think Alex Cole, strapped to the side of the scrum, needs a big game as well. This is sharp learning curve for that guy.
You'd have to say it's a opening quarter of an hour in great contrast to last week's. Oh, and that's slapped on quite well forward.
I think we got the referee's in an absolute correct position there. I don't know what Faf de Klerk was doing upon Marcus Smith. I thought at one moment he could have put his knee into him, but he hasn't, because the ref was seeing there. He was just watching the pass. Van Poortvliet needs to actually get that ball away a little bit. As you see Creel is smashing into Curry. Yeah, you
Just
watch.
a question for you.
Oh, what are you doing, lad?
To me and said need to
Just
stop
watch
over
this now. He's left the ball. He hasn't done any damage, but again, he's just putting pressure on.
Both ways. I've got to be fair.
This is a lovely position for South Africa now.
Yeah, time off. Yeah.
There's Bongi on
Okay.
Bonambi.
Okay. Yeah.
Bonambi earning his 56th cap
Boys,
today.
much
Scored
better on the gap, please. I just
one
need
of the
you square,
Springbok
chase your
tries
feet up
last
underneath,
week
you don't
against
go in.
Italy in Genoa, when they really came alive in that second half.
Well, 6 tries. I think it was every 4 or 6 minutes they were scoring, and it was just absolute power. In the first half, they were good, and they just got the game together and actually brutalised Italy. So that was good from the come into today's game, knowing full well that England would be a markedly higher target for them. Again, 3-0. They probably would have taken that 15 minutes in the home of rugby. England here, scrums going particularly okay-ish. Oh God, here we go. Play.
You're both down.
De Klerk. That meant for Kurtley Arendse. Away comes Stewart. On there to Coles. And it's the heavy-duty fellas, the bouncers. Mr. Khaleesi and Etzebeth. They force him into touch.
See body position there. You get away with that at Franklin's guards. You don't get away with that at Twickenham against South Africa. You've got to get lower. There was no way he was coming out of there being as high as he was. He just got picked up and dumped out. Result, South African line-out, like I said, I watched them for 5 minutes, full on, tilt on, catch and drive, catch and drive, catch and drive, just in the warm-up. So I'd be surprised if the backs see this for a bit. Oh, I am wrong.
There goes Willemse. Being held up and forced back. Oxenche. Evan Rush waiting for it. Picked up by the Stormer. Tackle was around the neck, so there's a penalty advantage coming here for the men in green and gold. Now let's see if they go for something here. LaRue with a little chip ahead. That's meant for Etzebeth. Oh, it's still an awkward one. And in the end, Johnny May almost saves the day, but we still got the penalty.
The Swindon Sizzler nearly didn't save the day, so I don't know what on earth he was doing. Probably just checking that he didn't hit the post, that ball. The cover was there. Alex Coles again, he's just getting steamrolled here. He's just a pick and drive from Roos. Power game, when you know what the South Africa do best is come at you. One out, it doesn't really matter. They get that momentum going, it's very, very difficult to stop.
Shot.
This will be easier for Faf de Klerk.
No, I'm not playing advantage from the scrum.
He has played back row.
No, I said both.
But not that much, I
I
don't think. And, he had started, he started for England in the second row. But then he went on the side, got dropped. Go on, what's his autumn history?
That's right, he's had 4 different roles throughout this month.
Oh, lad.
As you say, started off in the second row. Second week he was on the bench as a back row replacement. Last week he was out of the 23 altogether, and now here he is starting with 6 on his back.
Eddie Jones is a cunning plan, obviously.
After Klerk. Straight through that time. 3 points apiece. Between them, South Africa's kicking percentages throughout the Autumn Nations series, 72%, which is a good deal down on England's. And also if you consider just how important place kicking is in Test match rugby, well, despite the dominance of the Springboks in that World Cup final 3 years ago, Andre Pollard kicked 22 of the Springboks' 32 points.
Well, he'll have to come back in, or they'll have to find something. It's a very simple, well, it is simple. You've got to have a percentage kicker, high 80s, if you are going to win any competition whatsoever, or any game, constantly.
Farrell. On there to Tuilagi, there's Van Poortvliet. The carry from Mako Vunapola. That's Van Poortvliet again, on to Kyle Sinclair, the tackle from Nche. Smith. Farrell again.
Just watch Faf de Klerk. He's just given a licence to bounce around wherever he wants to.
And that sits up nicely there for Billy le Roux.
Out in front.
Well, he played with some ambition there, but he's rather offered an opportunity here to the men in white. Billy Vunipola goes hard and straight.
Well, it's hard and straight as long as the ball comes back very quickly, but it doesn't. And then you just run into more traffic. That's the problem. That turnover was a rubbish kick from Billy le Roux, who's a tremendous player.
The arm is out, though, from the referee.
Yeah, I got it.
So if they choose to take it.
It's as if we don't want to get the ball to the edge. You know, that was a prime example. You see, Tom McCurry was out there back sweeping. The ball goes to the right. I think that's the fourth penalty South Africa's given away. So they've got their hands in the sticky jar of giving away the pens. England really aren't capitalising on it. Get that ball out wide, go to the edge, recycle and come back. You know, the first instinct is, oh, right up the jumper, straight up the middle with Billy Vunipola.
Well, 4 in 20 minutes, that's 16 in a full 80 if they continue at that rate. And they often talk about, well, you can't win test matches if you give away more than 10 penalties.
Listen. Water off, please. Off.
Well, they did 12 months ago. They gave 18 away.
Off.
But I know exactly what you mean. But this is the result. They're quite happy to take this. England will do. This is the way they build their lead. You know, they're going to have to force it. They carry doing this and you get another 3, then another 3. That lead builds, so the Springboks will have to chance their arm. But they've got to do it better than Billy le Roux kicking out there. England pressed well on that restart. And they didn't exit superbly well, did he, South Africa? Hence, Farrell's got a good chance.
All right.
So Farrell, well, he's got his bad one for the month out of his system. Can he re-establish that 3-point lead? Well, another snap hook. His second in the opening 22 minutes.
Well, whether it's to do with that injury he got, whether he got actually that injury he picked up last week, I don't know whether that's playing on his mind, but that is so uncharacteristic.
Well, there's some rather colourful language leaked into your living room. We do apologise. Into the hands there of Marvin Orie. De Klerk. On to Damien Dialindi. No problems that time in the midst of Freddie Stewart, who gives that as big a belt as he can. De Klerk indicating that it was outside the 22, and Andrew Brace himself having a voice in his ear telling him that it was.
Well, that's a win-win, isn't it, for South Africa? It's a bad kick again as Billy le Roux kicked badly for South Africa to turn ball over. Big Leicester fullback's done exactly the same, and this is where South Africa love to be as the rain comes down, the drizzle comes down. That's a good game for them. Here you go. Here you go.
One in the side.
The arm is out again from Angus Gardner. England guilty of going in from the side.
Yep.
Well, the opening quarter's been no oil painting. Andrew Brace has his flag up again.
6 and 3. 3 entry.
2
6
players
collapse.
being penalised. Both Carl Sinclair and Alex Coles.
Big call for Khaleesi here. You know, see, early in the game, isn't he? The first quarter's gone. Do you go into the corner? Do you take the 3? I think they might go in the corner here. Yeah. A little imp is going to kick this ball in. Everyone's going to put Jack Van Poorvliet.
Don't come in the side. Don't collapse.
There you go. That's the instructions from the referee. Don't come in the side. Don't collapse. I know what the Springboks are going to do here.
Okay, Bracey, here we go again.
Well, we've yet to have a clean break in the match so far. Mbonambi goes to Franco Mostert. Look at this. England again guilty of coming in from the side. Mbonambi has it. Faf de Klerk. It's a free hit here for the men in green and gold. Well, it's gone astray, but it'll be another penalty, and I suspect a warning as well. Let's listen in.
I don't need you, I've got it. Yeah. 2 side entries and a collapse at Maul time. If we have another one in quick succession, someone's going to go to the bin, okay? Side entry at the Maul, okay? Number 6.
4 penalties apiece. You see what the referee's
Number
just
6,
said to
Bracey.
Owen Farrell's a yellow card coming. So if I'm Khaleesi, captain of Springboks, I put this ball straight back over there and go for another line. And they do well, England, actually. You can see all the backs trying to get in there to give some extra hand and some more power. But England stay well, but they have gone in the side to stop
just
that.
Here on the 15.
Free play, as you said, Martin.
Yep, here.
That's going nowhere, but again, Khaleesi must go into the corner. He's got to force England's hands here. Again, if the referee's true to his word, they'll be down to 14 in a minute if they don't score. Or maybe
Time's
even
off.
if they do score.
Yep.
Well, we're also going to
let's
have a
do the
brief
water break.
stoppage. No, it's going to be a water break.
No, sorry, leave it.
fact, it's
Do it
not
next
a water
one.
break.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do the line out. Yeah, sorry, he's up now. Okay, time on.
Yes, I think Damien Willems has got a problem with his shoelaces. Now fully tied up.
Mumbanambi, over to you.
Etzebeth Mumbanambi, Khaleesi. Well rehearsed, it's over the try line. Can they get it down though? It's held up.
Held up first.
Oh my word.
Go on.
Evan
I
Rush
called held up first.
thinks he
You
got
can't
it
keep
down.
wrestling it.
Again, England have done well there because this is going to be a dropout. The new rules now. Khaleesi,
To go
he
on,
needs to
drop
actually
out.
just drop
It's
before
held
that
up
line. As
first.
soon as he goes over that line and gets held up, the referee blows his whistle. That is now dead just before Roos scores. That's the referee's decision. Clearly blew before he went down, so that's fine. They can
Boys, just staying behind.
look at the scoreboard, they can do what they want, but they're still there, South Africa, because they have to drop out. Farrell to drop out. That's not a great one either.
I think the miss-hit gathered here by Jesse Creel, wearing 13 today. He was involved in this fixture a year ago when he was on the wing. Here's Oxenche, getting a bit of support there from Mumbanambi. Billy LaRue. Well, had plenty of height, but not really enough depth, and it went forwards, I think, off the hands there
I
of
got two
Freeman.
there then. I got first from White.
There's a lot of chatter going on. It's a bit like the World Cup in football, isn't it? Everyone wants to.
No, I had not
5
got my you
minutes.
guys first.
But then you can see
Okay,
Billy
we'll take the
LaRue is
water
so
break.
important for the South Africans. Without Pollard
Take the
there,
water
he
break.
moves into that second playmaker. Kick into the corner there as Freeman looks on. I don't know whether he'll get much ball in his hands the way this game's going and the tightness of it and the conditions.
Hey.
I hope I'm wrong.
Hey.
Freeman impressed Eddie Jones in his 2 appearances in July on the tour of Australia.
I didn't see.
Not involved early this month
yeah.
because
Look, I didn't see.
he missed most of
So,
October
until
because
someone
of a
lets me
foot
know
injury.
otherwise, then we'll
I
just
think it was a
play around the
reaction
water
really to the way New Zealand just peppered the skies last Saturday, wasn't it? Noel had to take the blame, probably wasn't his fault. It was just well worked out theory, well worked out in practice. New Zealand kicking game, or the kick pass, whatever you want to call it. So this lad Freeman's come in, he's 6'4". I think he is, Mike. He's a big lad, can play 15, so he's used to balls raining down on him.
Okay.
Here's another flyer there. If he could get the ball in his hands, he would have lighted up this Twickenham crowd.
Yes, Freeman, as we look there at Kirkley Aronson. Look at that, 4 tries this month, 2 last week against Italy. He's had a terrific year. The only blemish for him was that red card that he picked up at Nelspruit when the Springboks beat the All Blacks, and he had it was a clumsy mistimed challenge in the air on Bowden Barrett, but that apart, he has had the Midas touch. Everything he goes near seems to turn to gold. There's Tommy Freeman.
Crouch!
Comes from the same part of the world as both Freddie Stewart and Jack van Poortvliet. Norfolk boys.
Right foot.
Rather like the other two, he spent time with the Leicester Tigers.
Number 2, break foot back.
And there's that break foot. Wongian Umbonambi.
Outside.
Another thing to slow the game up.
There's Willemse. Chases it himself. Rather mistimed. Hacked on there by Mapimpi. Now this is an awkward one for Marcus Smith, but it's set up quite well. Then almost appeared to trip over one of his teammates, I think.
It was the ex-set that's called Faf de Klerk. He's after Marcus Smith this afternoon. He just flew at him.
There's Billy Vunipola. Trying to set up some sort of bridgehead for the exit.
Okay, keep it under. And use.
And that just clips a Springbok finger there.
It did. He's just got to get his game sorted. Van Portfleet, he had a shocker last week. Interception try given away, and just needs to really speed things up around, I think, that sort of ruck area. Maybe if he needs another guy in there for that kicking, because obviously he's not set himself up correctly if he's getting charged down from there. Or semi-charged down, I should say.
Yeah, drop there, right, thank you.
Jamie George starting a hooker today for England, one of 5 Saracens in the starting 15. Finds Johnny Hill, now Sale.
Yeah, it's over now.
You'd have to say at the moment, England are meeting the physical challenge. Mapimpi took that very impressively above his head. There's Evan Roos.
Okay, move out.
Not backwards again. Alex Scholes doing his bit.
Okay, timing here.
Leclerc goes to the air. Mapimpi chasing. Stewart there. But it went forward.
It's accidental for me because... excuse me. It's accidental. It was knocked on and it went straight into his arms. It's a scrum.
There you go.
Completely accidental.
I am noticing a heck of a lot more people chatting back to the referee. And I don't like it at all. Straight away, there's always, what about? Referee's given this from Stewart. There you go. Accidentally into
What's that?
his partner in crime, Freeman. So it's just a scrum. There's no problem.
The cadence is based on how still you guys are. And I feel like we haven't got the stability that I need to call it in, okay? You've got to keep the break foot on, okay? And I don't want you pushing in the head into the body up as well, okay?
For those that don't know, the break foot, the hooker has to put a foot out just to try and stabilise. Oh no, he does that, man. Stabilise the scrum. You see the green shoe there, right in the middle of the hooker. That's what he's going to do. That's the break foot.
Crouch.
And it's all about lifting the pressure off the necks of those players in the front row, particularly the hookers. Leclerc with a pudding. Evan Roos with the ball at his feet.
Play it! Play it! Play it!
It's all rather happening in slow motion at the moment. Here's De Lindy, the former Munster man.
Lead it, you two, up and away.
Leclerc. Mustard into a wall of white. Tom Curry, for a moment, thought he was looking at a possible turnover. Roos with another carry.
He carries well, doesn't he?
Getting through Billy Vunipola. Willemse. They're up to the 22 of South Africa. Here's Frans Malherbe, something of a unsung hero for South Africa. One of the men who's actually won a test match here at Twickenham. Back here, the attempt at the drop from Willemse. And it's on target. And South Africa have an unlikely lead. 6 points to 3.
Nothing was coming really. Faf de Klerk was going left and right, asking his big charges to go there. Roos, like I said, he's a big ball carrier, and that is what do they say? Get down in the 22. He's outside the 22. Come away with points. Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
An acrobatic catch from Mostert.
Outside.
Worth reinforcing a point if you're not that familiar with South African rugby. The South African 7 is a 6 in every other part of the world. In other words, the 7 in South Africa is the blind side flanker. Good catch there from Stewart. And Portfleet. Carry from Carl Sinclair straight into Bongi Mbonambi.
Leave it! Leave it!
Marcus Smith. Farrell. Chance to run for Tuolangi. Tuolangi only lasted 8 minutes in this fixture last year. Did score a try though. Vunipola. No real impact there. Being held up by Etzebeth. Back to Smith. Tester here for Willemse. Good step. Willemse's got LaRue inside him. There's Billy LaRue. Arendse on the right. There goes Arendse. And Arendse has stepped Smith. And Arendse gets his 7th try in 7 test matches. Well, for half an hour, this match has offered little. But that, believe me, a work of art on what is a damp canvas. Quite brilliant.
Wow, that's all I could say. Stewart there, that's fine. You can see the try scorer Arendse. Excuse me. Just push him out of the way. Billy LaRue doesn't botch things up. Just wait. Look at this for step. Marcus Smith is no slouch. Marcus Smith is light on his feet. He's just been done there. What do they say? Inside a phone box. Absolutely amazing. You can just see they're going to attack at this first side. It's the first time they've really pinned back their ears. Willemse there, LaRue.
Okay.
And then watch this. Okay. Well, my word. That's an unfair contest. Colby Ikehata, he's the glamour boy. This boy is writing his own. Fantastic score, fantastic celebrations.
Well, I know they give awards for this sort of thing in terms of players who've made a great impact in their first season of Test match rugby. But in my view, there's been nobody to touch that man in 2022. Kurtley Arendse. And he made Marcus Smith there look rather silly. Well, ironic, perhaps impolite cheers and applause. But if ever there was a try that deserved 7 points, that was it.
Certainly was. Willemse up the sideline, Billy LaRue.
And LaRue was calling that.
Oh, absolutely.
Throughout.
This is why he's such an intelligent player. He's only been playing in the Springbok side for a decade. This is why he's at second receiver. But when he stands at second receiver, things happen. And that's the difference. And he knows he's got speedsters outside. He knows he's got guys that can run the length of the field and just, step like that. Marcus Smith was within 4 metres of him.
You do fear it might have come at a bit of a cost, though, because we were watching Faf de Klerk attempt to convert it. Billy LaRue has got some strapping applied to his left thigh. There he is, on cue. Here's Willemse. And they're off and running again as South Africa. And there's Arendse. Gialindi was calling for it, but the kick wasn't quite up to it. Well, people often talk about South African rugby not being necessarily the most enterprising, and on the evidence of the opening half an hour, you'd have to agree. But there are all sorts of stats that suggest there are other teams that kick the ball more. France, would you believe?
Of course.
What we saw in Genoa last week on a narrow pitch, South Africa carving it up in the last half an hour. And in the last 2 or 3 minutes, we've seen stuff here which, may have surprised a few.
Well, they've got to back themselves to do it because they can't back their kickers. And that's not Faf de Klerk. He's not the regular kicker. He's a guy that kicks a goal. That's how important these kickers are to the side. So they're going to say, right, we're going to have to win it with tries. And that guy knows it. Again, it's not risky rugby, running from their own 22. These are professional guys that the skill levels are so high, and they see a weakness on England on the outside, and they've just exposed it again.
It's not an all South African coaching staff either. We saw there Jacques Nienaber just exchanging a few words with Felix Jones. Remember him? Fantastic operator for Munster, whose playing career that is, came to an early halt. Saw another carry from Evan Roos, who after a slightly wobbly start with his first carry is making quite an impact. Look at that from Faf de Klerk on the half volley there. Thirdly, Aronson. Umbanambi. Being met there by Billy Vunipola, and that looked a little bit high.
Yeah, it was over the shoulder, going nowhere. Come back for the original penalty.
Again, Billy LaRue saying, calm it down there, I'd go into the corner. Apologies if you've heard a little bit of the agricultural language. Tense out there, there's no need for it, but again, this is incredibly important. I think close you can see the seatbelt, I think it's called, isn't it, just winding up there. He's a big lad, he doesn't hurt him, but it's given South Africa penalty. Do they go into the corner, which I would? I'd go into the corner.
Alex Coles has got to be careful, because that's the second time he's done that.
It's all good. What do you guys want to do?
He's got to be careful, because I think he clashed heads with Billy Vunipola.
What are we doing? Are we going for touch?
It's a no-brainer. You go for touch here. South African line-out's probably 100%. It normally is. Even, like I said, they lost 2 last time they were here at Twickenham. Yeah. 100% I'm being told, so correct decision.
Boys,
you couldn't guarantee Faf de Klerk getting the penalty. And the referee now is going to the England side. You're still on that warning, so you can't come in from the side. You've just got to get up and defend properly. So South Africa will know that. They're holding all the cards here.
The catch from Marvin Orri. It's crabbing a little.
Some wide offside.
Once again, England have come offside.
They've got to bin this one.
Here's Khaleesi. Being held up by Itoje.
Not here. Where's the mark over here? Okay. Yep.
There's going to be a chat, I think.
No, it's got to be bin. Okay. You've got them a warning.
7 white up early at line-out time. Now it's a general warning. Anything more down here, someone's going to the bin. That was for line-out to Maul. Now it's anything down here, okay?
So it was the warning, now it's the general warning. It's like an election.
Yep.
Go into the corner, Faf. Go into the corner.
Over here.
Well, they've got a bit of thinking time, the Springboks. I guess they've got almost 4 choices here, haven't they?
Is Kerry watching his teammate, his Sharks teammate? That Sharks from Manchester, obviously, like a hawk. Because he's not told exactly where he's going. Are they going to go for 3? Are they going to put into the corner? I'd go into the corner.
This mark here. Shot.
He's going for a shot. Oh, I think you've got England there. You've got England worried. You've got England under pressure, knowing full well that they can't really exert unless they're 100%, because they could go down to 14.
Always penalties against them.
Did you see Billy LaRue pointing
I had the ones at the Mall, and I gave them the warning for the Mall.
Happy with that. I think
now
Billy
LaRue. So now it's a general warning, okay?
Wanted a little bit more ambition.
I just had
Felix Jones again, just sharing a few words with Jock Nienaber.
I think that's a wrong decision. I know everyone's mic'd up, so he could get a message on.
So restart.
For me personally, what's the time? Well, I suppose it's 40 minutes. So that's what they're looking at, getting another 3 points before half-time. But actually, you could go for the juggler. You could put England down to 14, get a try and a conversion. But they don't want to risk it. The thing is, they risk this guy getting 3.
It's all right. We've got the restart anyway, mate.
It does rather ramp up the pressure on the former Sale Shark. No problems.
We've got the restart.
Faf adds 3. Well, it's a 14-3 lead. And we will have time for one more play.
Well, England, can they do anything here? Just fly up, look at the ball, try and get it back and do something before half-time. He's off for probably stern words of what he did last week with New Zealand. That's the correct kick-off, but it isn't right into Itoje's hands, so this will go off the field.
Tackle.
And the first 40 will be done.
Well, in all honesty, it's been an England first 40, which was, or has been, just as inert as the first 40 last week against the All Blacks. And it's certainly Faf de Klerk and the Springboks who have the spring in their step. They have the try, and what a scorcher it was. Half-time at Twickenham, the Springboks lead England by 14 points to 3. plays Tommy Freeman.
Yeah, Eddie Jones hasn't messed around. They need a lift, England, in the physical aspects. Actually, they need a lift all over the place. Look a little bit sort of lethargic. These guys have taken a good lead into that first half, and we believe there's no changes so far on the South African side.
Yeah, so bear in mind, Jack Nienaber has Malcolm Marks, Stephen Kitshoff and Thomas du Toit still up his sleeve.
South Africa was 64% possession in that first half. They're looking for a balance, I think. Bar looking for a balance between forwards and backs, and they seem to have found it, especially with that incredible try from Kurtley Rensa. Beautifully taken. Clean breaks for South Africa, 2. Including that one, obviously one for the try, and then none for England. Pens, England giving away 6, South Africa just 4. Tight margins with the try scorer from last week, a couple from him. These guys have got to make an impact now for England.
Okay. 40 minutes remain for these two sides. International season.
Time on.
And a false start, and now Damian Willemse gets us back underway. England having altered the entire front row. Well, England was celebrating earlier this week the 20th anniversary of when they beat South Africa by 53 points to 3. Recent history rather suggests that encounters at Twickenham between these two are a good deal closer. 12 months ago it was 27-26 to England. Rafi Quirk scoring what proved to be the winning try. And the previous time South Africa were here, that was 2018. Just a single point separating the two then. England winning by 12 points to 11. 14 points to 3 now to South Africa. There's Billy le Roux. Jack Noel, always easy to spot with that bright blue protective headgear.
Yeah, counter-ruck's good.
Counter-ruck good there from Siya Kolisi.
Counter-ruck's good.
And they turned it.
Go,
well, Alex Coles was in there. And England, no, they haven't got it back. Faf de Klerk just
there it is.
Reaching for it. He has it now, does de Klerk. Here to Willemse, an attempt at another drop. Well, he struck it very crisply again. And the arm is up from Angus Gardner. Well, it was written in South Africa this week that in terms of playing rivalries, there is none bigger than the Springboks and the All Blacks. But England, according to the writer, made it quite clear that when it comes to the enemy, there is none greater than England. And Ellis Genge has only been on a few moments and he's already getting rather hot under the collar.
It's all a game. That's what it is. And that's the only thing that matters coming out of that, is that drop as sweet as a pin. That's 2 that he's done now. There's a bit you can just see Etzebeth on the left there as this ball sails high into the Twickenham sky. Dissects the posts. And South Africa build this lead again, and this is the melee afterwards. Again, it just came from a bit of pressure. Van Poortvliet again was slow getting that ball away. He got counter-rucked.
So I turned to go with the drop goal.
We will listen.
I don't know what started that. Whitey, do you have anything there, mate?
Cameras all followed the ball after the drop goal.
Okay.
There was just pushing and shoving from both sides as far as I can see.
Yeah, okay.
That's
So
the voice
who
of
did
Ben
you
Whitehouse,
have
the
here?
television match official.
I just had push and shove. Did you have anyone as well? Okay, all right.
I think just get on with it. I think
Time
again.
off. Yeah.
We will listen in. The schoolmaster will have his way.
Owen. Boys, we don't really know what started that, okay? Okay, but what's not acceptable is a scuffle and players continuing to scuffle after I've blown the whistle, okay? So go back now. I don't want to see anything more of that on this pitch today, okay? Is that clear? All right, go and have a word to you guys. The drop goal stands, okay? I'll give you a moment and then we'll take the restart, okay? I don't know what started it.
It all came from a counter ruck. Alex Coles thought he was in a green shirt at one point, got the South African side pushed back. Ellis Genge obviously has had something to do with it, what he'd expect it. England need a lift, the crowd are trying to give it a now. We can't wait till the 73rd minute to start playing. Start playing now.
But there's certainly a hubbub of disquiet at Twickenham. In that respect, it's not dissimilar to last week. Marvin Orie letting that one slip.
A little bit of luck England needed. He just goes straight up. The light's getting his eyes, it doesn't really matter. Getting straight through the bread bin. He needs probably just to turn his shoulder a little bit, because again, if you go up and you've got yourself turned sort of 45 degrees, that ball should go back rather than go forward. But again, a great opportunity now for England. This is where they want to be. He wants the ball in his hand.
You're patient, you wait for the call, okay? Elbows up, take the hit.
England and Eddie Jones acutely aware that if they lose today, it'll be their worst calendar year since Eddie Jones took charge. And that was in the aftermath of England's own World Cup in 2015.
Well, we'll come to that when we come to it, but again, he's only just started the first. Oh, God.
You're putting weight through.
This time,
overleaning.
The new guys are putting weight through. They're overleaning. What are you supposed to do if you're a prop front rower?
17 and 18, overleaning.
But again, that's what they brought on to do, but they've got to just control themselves. Look, Cowan Dickey's laughing. I'm slightly smirking here. Overleaning. That's a new one.
Willemse goes to the air. Well, that was a spectacular catch. That was more like Freddie Stewart at his best. Here's Marcus Smith. England realising they have to play. There's Ellis Genge. There is an advantage here to England. Van Portfleet. Johnny May. On to Tuolangi. That was good to Jack Nowell. Well, it's being held up, but driven on there by England. We are going to come back for the penalty.
Whistle. Let the ball go. We're going back for the penalty. Hey. Let the ball go.
Oh, there is an England player down on the floor. I think it's Marcus Smith. And this will be a source of some concern, because he does look to be in some distress.
There's a couple of things going on out there. England look a totally different side when they put the ball through their hands. Marcus Smith's made a break, which is, I think, is the first he's done today, so that gets England on the front foot. And I've got to say, Faf de Klerk is on a mission out there to damage somebody, because I'll watch this as he goes forward now. I'm sure you'll see Faf de Klerk coming in with a swinging arm. He misses, and that's not the first time he's done it. What's this? Nothing wrong with that, because he's missed. But the intent was to do something else. But that was where it started from. South Africa opting to put the ball up in the air. The chase wasn't really great. The catch this time from Stewart was outstanding. And this is where he goes through. That's the first time they made a break. Then the ball goes out wide. And now England, again, look, a different side. Put the ball through the hands. Get it out wide. Get it to the edge.
Push back.
Turn South Africa.
South Africa have made their first alteration. Kwagga Smith is on, so he'll move into the back row. He's replaced Marvin Orie. So that means that Kwagga Smith will move into the number 7 role, which, bear in mind, in South Africa with the blindside flank. And Franco Mostert will now move alongside Eben Etzebeth at lock. That better from Owen Farrell. South Africa bringing on 2/3 of their bomb squad, established members. Stephen Kitsop on the right, Malcolm Marks on the left.
And if you saw Quacker Smith's nose there, you can understand what type of player he is. He's very direct, very quick, and carries hard. Alex Coles is off his day, as Dan. I was wondering when. I wonder who's coming. Is it Sam Simmons come on?
No, it's David Ribbons.
Oh, okay, Ribbons.
So it's Northampton Saint for Northampton Saint. There you can see Ribbons, who had such an impact last week, along with 14 other men in white in the last 7 or 8 minutes. Malcolm Marks straight into the action.
Stupid from Faf de Klerk. England will take that. Absolute. Oh,
penalty reverse. Johnny Hill.
He should know better than that, Johnny Hill. You play with him. You're goading him. It's absolutely goading him, and they're just flying into it. Just leave him alone. He's a showman. He's a tremendous player. He's fantastic, and he's just there. England just getting back on the feet with a penalty from Farrell. He's off his feet. He knows as soon as you're off your feet like that, you're going to give it away. And then straight away,
you're on a warning for line out to maul and infringers down here.
Johnny Hill does that.
And the referee just reminding England that warning still applies. Crucial moment in the match. The catch from Mostert.
Down by South Africa.
Malcolm Marks has it. Luke Cowan-Dickie coming across. Faf de Klerk trying to alert the referee to the actions of Luke Cowan-Dickie, but Angus Gardner says it's okay. Well, Tom Curry was told to leave that. The arm is out now. There's Evan Russ.
Go wide, they score.
Faf de Klerk. Billy LaRue with a cross kick. It's meant for Mapimpi. Well, Freddie Stewart got just enough to that, but there is going to be a yellow card, I fear, here for England. It's Tom Curry, and Tom Curry playing against the Springboks for the 10th time in his career, goes into the sin bin.
Again, well, they knew it was coming.
Over here.
Again, Mostert goes, well, normally he's a second row, like he said, he started the game on the blind side. They put him up to 2 in the liner. That's an easy ball for them. It's banker ball, they took that well. Watch out for Faf de Klerk. This is going to be a crucial 10 minutes now for England, down to 14. Springbok set piece, very, very good. Etzebeth prowling. Marks is on, he's a massive man.
There he is. He casts a long and wide shadow, literally. And could he now do the same, figuratively, against the men in white? Will Stewart there to disrupt. The ball has gone to the ground. Another powerful carry. There's Faf de Klerk, Damien Dialindi. They're within 2 metres here. The man in green and gold, Maro Itoje, being told to get his hands off it. And South Africa have got the try. Rene Naylor, the physio, celebrating. Well, Eben Etzebeth getting to his feet alongside Franco Mostert. But it's Eben Etzebeth who's credited with the score.
Well, 3 tries before that. His 4th try easy for Faf de Klerk's conversion. Again, he's limp, but he's not coming. Look at the power. England are not getting off the line at all. Farrell, he's 12. You've got to be like a Creel, like a Delande. You have to hit up hard. Etzebeth, that's easy. This cover, the referee is saying, well, they're actually lucky not to go down to 13 because they're giving so many penalties, well, giving the referee opportunities to penalise them.
Yeah.
That is just so easy.
Just step back, did it?
.6:24. Were we there last week? 6:25, wasn't it last week? 73 minutes when something happened. They've got a half an hour for something to happen.
Well, the ball has gone forward. So a tiny morsel of encouragement for the men in white. Well, a seasoned South African rugby observer sat not terribly far away from me now, said that because this match is taking place outside
Here we go, boys.
the so-called test match window, South Africa are without 9 of their first 23 today. So it's a demonstration of Springbok depth.
Yeah, just here.
Certainly in terms of their starting 15, they're at least 6 light. Remember, there's no Lukan Yuan, Peter Steph-Toy, who is suspended, Luke de Jager, who's injured, Andre Pollard, who the last we heard, having had a knee injury, is now struggling with a calf injury.
So what are you saying, then? We're playing South Africa B?
Well, not quite South Africa B, but certainly Springboks light.
Bind! Set! Unstable. Reset.
See the else now. You can see the blue here. That's Jack Noel. He obviously has to come on, but Curry's in the bin. He's taken one for the team. So again, England under a little bit of pressure. They're not going to go down the blind side if they win this.
Unstable on the hit. Both packs unstable on the hit. Okay. Sorry.
And there is still that hubbub around Twickenham, which I'm not used to hearing, to be honest. I heard it last week.
Just come up. I think the gap's a bit too far away.
Also, in the last 20 minutes or so of that test match against Argentina.
Mutterings. Well, I'm not going to mutter anything because I saw the most amazing comeback last week. So I just hope England can do the same. But they've just got to start playing. They've got to back themselves. Get in the moment.
Set!
Oh.
I'm down.
Well, they're getting close to double figures now in terms of penalty. England.
Yeah.
That the 9th. There's a familiar face for followers of Leicester Tigers. Marco van Staden, who left the club just a matter of a couple of months ago. Now playing for the Bulls in Pretoria.
Yeah, let's do it.
And he's about to have his first involvement in this Autumn Nations series. He will replace Evan Roos. So Evan Roos, who has had a very good opening 52 minutes.
He's played well, 9 carries, 36 metres. That's what you need, again, in these gladiatorial surroundings, because it's hard yards to carry against England's pack normally, and he's done superbly well.
De Klerk. Oh, and Willemse.
Whistle.
Well, South Africa are trying to give it to England, and they're trying to give as much ball as possible. That's a shocker. He knows it.
4 minutes and more left on that sin bin period for Tom Curry.
Okay, let's come up to the mark. Good, there we go.
Here we go. That's the referee. Will we go, though?
2014, the last time South Africa won here against England. As I've said before, they did win here a year later in that World Cup quarter-final against Wales.
Set!
Again, the clock is not England's friend. The South Africans won't worry about this at all.
Yeah, boys.
England have got to do something better to get that ball in, get it out. Go unorthodox position for the number 8 in between the flank and the second row. Like I said, the ball gets thrown into the 8 feet anyway, don't you know? Just hit in, get square, get the ball out.
Boys,
quick.
Make sure you're either side. I don't want heads on heads, please. All right, okay? Yeah.
England's record this calendar year, 1-5, lost 5, and last week's draw against the All Blacks.
Bind!
Ireland and Argentina have been to Twickenham this year and won. South Africa will feel now, and the spill there from Vunipola. Van Poortvliet goes the other way, though.
Knock on White.
The referee has seen a knock on.
See, this is where Jack Van Poortvliet again needs just to wisen up. I'm sorry to have a go, but there is no way Faf de Klerk should get anywhere near Billy Vunipola there. He should have his body in the way.
Knock on White at the back.
See, where is he? He's outside.
Guys. Let's go, please.
Ben Youngs has to come on as he did last week. It's a tried move. There's no problem. But if you've got Jack Noel, who's a winger, on the blind side flank, he ain't going to do anything to Faf de Klerk. That is so naive.
Yeah, let's take a water break. We'll take the water break.
And the result of being naive like that, yeah, everyone's got the blooming talkbacks and whatever tell you that is absolute rubbish play there. You've given South Africa the ball on the halfway line. The scoreline is not on your side with the clock ticking down. You've got to be precise, but you've actually just got to be sensible.
Yeah.
Martin Gleeson there
I'm not
on the
sure
left-hand
what else
side
I
of
can
that
do.
picture.
Yeah.
The attack coach.
I've asked him to hurry up, and then
England
we'll
with
take
just
a water
6
break when
points
he goes
today,
down,
both
so-
from the boot of Owen Farrell. In
Not
front of him
everyone,
there was
I agree.
Matt Proudfoot, who of course crossed the floor from South Africa to England after that World Cup final.
Number 8, boys.
But perhaps a drinks break that's coming at a good time for the men in white. Chance to make 1 or 2 alterations, in fact 1. Now Billy Vunipola is going off. He's being replaced by Sam Simmons.
Well, he's had another quiet game when you need your big players to stand up. He hasn't carried well. Simmons will give you pace. And when Curry comes back on, we'll have the Kamikaze twins out there. At least we can do some. He should have been on from the start, and I think, personally, but here we
A
go.
bit far away, guys, a bit far away.
You almost want to give it a side of a big start before you start playing. You can see Richard Cockerill just bringing the water off there. He was trying to instill into the players, come on, lads. That great word that all coaches use, come on. I don't quite know what it means, but they just need to back themselves.
Less than 4 minutes remaining in this third quarter.
I go for a pen here. There you go.
The arm is out. I think there was even a little knock on there from Faf de Klerk, but doesn't matter. 10th penalty against England.
It's an easy game.
So much for the competitive edge that Eddie Jones was talking
Do you believe
about at the start of the game in terms of the scrum.
Do you read or believe what Eddie Jones says?
Okay, shot.
No. Well, I don't. It's the right decision. Go for 3. Has he got the legs? Probably not. Billy LaRue, I don't know whether he's got that. But again, what will happen is they'll chase their Pierre and force England. Right, come on then. Are you going to run out from deep? With a chance of hitting the posts. He's also got a chance of taking the clock down by another minute. So it is the right decision.
Not many of the Springboks involved today know what it feels like to win a test match at Twickenham. Dr. Klerk never has. And he struck that very, very sweetly. No specialist place kicker, they say.
Right.
It's doing nicely.
Am I right in this? Is that 3 converted tries now just to draw the game? So...
Sorry? Not sure, mate, not sure. How long left on the bin, guys?
The change there made on the tight head side.
He's a small
and I'll tell
lad.
you what,
He is a
huge.
small lad.
Look at that South African front row now. Thomas du Toit, 6'2", 136 kilos, alongside Malcolm Marx. Here's Kurtley Aronson. Haven't seen too much of him, but what we've seen, really quite stunning. That South Africa try, very, very special.
I just put that on the top, the middle, or the end of your show reel. Unbelievable. 1-on-1. Not fair. Not fair contest, that try.
3 converted tries. The difference between the teams. That was picked up by Khaleesi and then fumbled by Etzebeth. Referee playing an advantage. Here's Ellis Genge. Gets a chance to run. There's a little skip. Stephen Kitsoff grabs hold of him. Van Portfleet. Etoje. Hill. Loose pass. Grabbed by Johnny May.
Bennett over there. Leave it.
Referee says the advantage is over. That's the halfway line.
Good.
There's Genge again. Thomas du Toit with a tackle. Farrell goes aerial. Billy LaRue can take those all day. Good counter-up though coming from England.
Play on.
Owen Farrell at the bottom there. Secured possession. Here's Cowan-Dickie. Van Portfleet. Tuolangi. Test match number 50 today for the Sale Shark. Farrell. Driven back. Thomas du Toit, along with Quacker Smith. Marcus Smith.
Knock on. Play advantage.
Well, it's almost becoming a comedy of errors for England. And there they are again. Curtly Aronson is away. Got one man to beat. Van Poortvliet did. He's still got it as Aronson. Willemse, along with Jesse Creel. Baf de Klerk. Here's Eben Etzebeth. Can they kill England now? That was quite a pickup from Malcolm Marks. But the referee awards the penalty. South Africa have gone off their feet.
Well, if you want to see the difference between the sides, that is it. That facet of play is that. Curry's back on and they need him back up to 15, but England struggled to play with ball in hand. The groan that went up when Farrell kicked the ball up in the air.
Okay, you want me to check the actions of South Africa 18?
Yes,
we will listen into this first.
Into your check.
Yes, please.
Okay.
You tell me when you're under the screen, and we'll tee the best angles.
South Africa 18, Martin, who's that?
Let's put on the screen
Well,
now,
this
mate.
was going back a bit. I noticed this myself. Thomas du
He's a big
Toit.
lad. So we'll just wait to see what they're looking at, because the play was going.
Stand by, Gus. The angles.
I think it might be a no-arms tackle they're looking at. That's certainly what caught my eye. It's going back a bit. There he is.
But again, just
actions of 18 green.
Yeah,
This is the moment. There we go. Is that shoulder on head? It's Luke Cowan-Dickie who is the receiver.
Front shoulder, red card. Yeah, front shoulder into the head.
Well, this is another twist. We could well see South Africa going down to 14 for what remains of the match here.
it's on his head, his shoulder on head, it's a red.
Your best angles.
Seen it 2 or 3 times now.
Okay, come back to me now,
The
mate.
crowd are going to boo.
Okay, thanks, boys. Come back to me now.
Yeah, we're just sending it back. You're on screen.
Listen
So,
in.
Whitey, we've got a touchdown from the number 18 green into the head of the English player. For us, it's high force, and there's no mitigation, so it's going to be a red card.
There you go. He's gone. England have a lifeline. He knows, he knows, he knows.
He's only been on a matter of minutes. An act of indiscipline, not the first on this tour.
Where's the mark?
Although I suppose the point worth making here
Sorry.
is that the Springboks against France lost Peter Speftertoy in the opening minutes of the match. And although Antoine Dupont joined him,
Okay, time back on.
South Africa weathered a long period with a man down against France and almost won the match.
Well, the big thing, Martin, is here, can England score 3 tries, 3 converted tries just to get even? That's the thing which they've struggled to do. Until last week again, until the 73rd minute when they actually put the ball through people's hands and started doing things.
And again, last week, remember, it was New Zealand down to 14 with Beauden Barrett in the sin bin.
Absolutely, so they like the odds, can they do it? South Africa will be quite happy. They will just basically tackle. They'll have, you know, you train for this, you go down to 14, you won't play too much fancy rugby, you will try and frustrate England and take the clock down. Or lose the line-out, or win a line-out when you shouldn't do.
Well, that was Franco Mostert.
Boys, take a step.
How timely.
Yeah, that's unacceptable from England. Brilliant from South Africa.
Here's Baf de Klerk. And there is the clearing kick. Not right out of the middle, but it did just about enough.
What's that? Yeah, okay.
What happened then?
Boys, let me explain.
I was following the ball. Did it hit the Spidey cam?
I'll just explain.
Now the spider cam, which we'll see in a moment, is a bit of television equipment.
It's actually a scrum.
He did indeed.
Where he kicked it from, so it's going to be a scrum 5 out. Yeah, your ball 5 metres out. Yeah.
I actually thought that ball didn't. He did look like he struck it, and I didn't see where he hit the spider cam. But I thought he would have gone further than that, and that's what happened. That's the first for me at Twickenham.
Well, it was the kick from Money Libbok. Now you can see there the replacement fly half.
So basically, in the extreme situation like this, which I've never seen before, I don't think I've ever seen a ball hit a spider cam. They're in most stadiums and have been for some time at Twickenham. You have to go back to a restart the scrum. And that was the nick of the ball. Look at that, Mostert going up there just in front of Ribbons. Ribbons born in South Africa. I think maybe a few words going on in that line out there, mate. You picked the wrong side or whatever, just a bit of fun and banter.
So Makazole Mapimpi comes off. He's been sacrificed because South Africa have to have 3 specialist front row players. So Frans Malherbe, who thought his evening was done, is back on to fill the void left by the red card received by his original replacement Thomas du Toit, and Mapimpi is sacrificed to allow Malherbe to come back. There's the pickup from Kwagga Smith. Tom Curry, who's had a 10-minute break, and it's a penalty against South Africa.
Right, stop celebrating and get something sorted.
Leave it, 12, leave it.
Well, Sia Khaleesi just barking the instructions in the background.
Well, here you go. You've rolled the dice now. Well, the dice has been rolled for you. He knows. Can we possibly have the scenes that we did last week when England came back from, was it 6-25 down to get 25 all? Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Now England need to up it. 17 minutes and counting. 16 minutes and counting. Oh, they've got to go. They have to score here. They've got to catch and drive and score.
Cowan-Dickie goes to Itoje, who rises high. Cowan-Dickie has the ball in his paws. Eben Etzebeth trying to reach over the top. Can they maul it over? It's gone to ground, illegally so. So it's a free hit for the men in white. There it is, and Portfleet goes himself.
Take your time now, time.
Well, it's there for England. Jack Knowles right in the middle of that somewhere. Look at Cowan-Dickie, like a sprinter, waiting to leap out of the blocks.
Johnny Hill's the wrong man to do that. He has to bend his back some way.
Curry has a dart. Dialindi repels him. Back there to Slade, on there from Farrell. Stewart, what a tackle that was from Curtly Arendse. He really has got all court skills. Referee confirms there's still an advantage being played.
Noel wants it.
Still got the advantage.
Simmons wants it.
Itoje, Slade, hit in the midfield, and look at Faf de Klerk.
Well, that time it was legal, and he did connect. That's what he's given a licence to thrill, licence just to get in people's faces. England will pump it again into the corner.
And he's always easy to spot, is Faf de Klerk. The Twickenham lights just reflecting off the blonde rinse.
15 minutes and counting.
Boys, keep that ball up.
Down to 14. Thomas du Toit sent off for a hit on Cowan-Dickie. And they've lost that one again.
And there's Khaleesi on from Libbok. Look at here the ambition. On to Curtly Arendse. Willemse says kick it, and that's just what Arendse does. Freddie Stewart. Once again, you can see the Arendse on defensive detail. There's Farrell, the offload to Ribbons. Van Portfleet. Van Portfleet looks at the gap. It closes quickly. The tackle there from Van Staden. England up to the 22. South Africa being told to leave it. Here's Itoje. Jack Noel as first receiver. Khaleesi.
Okay, move.
And Kitshoff envelop him. Look at Malcolm Marx getting over the ball. And Malcolm Marx secures the turnover. And South Africa have the penalty.
13 and a half minutes. Again, they'll just go through the paces, through the setup, and have the bravery, well, not bravery, the skill to nick a line out, then throw a ball, move the ball from underneath your posts. That's confidence, that's skill, confidence. That's a good side, a mark of a great side. The try scorer, Renser getting the ball, pumping it up 45 metres, and now South Africa will just walk. They will walk to this line out.
England making the alteration at scrum half. One Leicester Tiger replaces another. Ben Youngs. Cap number 121. Well, he was part of that revival last week, was Youngs.
Well, he's been watching this for 66 minutes. He'll know what to do. It's just actually, you've just got to get the ball out quick. Put it flat for your ball carriers. But they've got to win it first. And again, clock ticks down.
I've got number 4 still on him. It's a sack, so it's a tackle ball going forward.
Well, talking about unsung heroes, the bloodied figure you can see there on the right, Franco Mostert, he's been stealing line-out ball. He is one of those players who doesn't earn too many headlines for South Africa, but today, there he is. He's been very special indeed.
Absolutely. Again, second row would be his preferred position, but he's quite happy to strap on the side and do a Courtney Laws or a Toji for England. But again, he's somebody who delivers in that position. I always think we lose something when we put Laws and a Toji there. Visits the 22, you can see South Africa 8 points per visit. Enough said. Time spent. That's where the modern game, professional game, or any game really, you've got to get down there and come away with points. South Africa have given a masterclass really to Eddie Jones's boys today.
Okay.
Well, given how depleted South Africa are,
I need patience.
And we do have to make the qualifying statement that there are 12 minutes to go here. And we've got a reminder from last week not to make or draw too many conclusions too soon. But this poised to be as significant a result as we've seen all month. South Africa haven't won here against England for 8 years. They come here with somewhere around about 9 of what would normally be their starting 23 unavailable. They've got a penalty advantage. It's a free hit. Deolindi there with a cross kick. Stewart is alert to it. But we'll come back for the penalty. And South Africa will take that. Another minute or so will tick by.
Yeah, they just have a nice balance. You know, the coaches have got it. You've got to give them credit.
Front row.
Ninaba, you know.
Yep. Yeah, boys, I can't have you continuing to collapse.
His ability, I'm sure, just to say, right, we're big and strong. We know what South African rugby is about. Yep. You know, it's the set piece. Yes, we've got fantastic ball carriers, ferocious ball carriers, ferocious scrummers, but we've got to add something. And he has. Faf de Klerk has been a total pain in the backside for England. That's without his kicking, his goals and his rugby skill. He's just been putting people off. Why aren't we putting people off? Why aren't we comfortable with moving the ball, scoring, or looking to score? We haven't to balance. We were forced into it last week and it came good. Was that just papering over the cracks?
Eddie Jones said this week that he thought this England side are starting to drive their own decisions on the pitch. They're more self-driven, was the expression he used, not looking to the sideline for a cue.
Let's get him on the mark.
Well,
get on the mark, please.
They haven't drawn too much inspiration from within the white lines today. They need some intervention from somewhere. They've got the one-man advantage, but they have yet to have anything to show for that. The bounce of the ball eluding Faf de Klerk. It's there for Ben Youngs. Here's Ellis Genge. Farrell. The kick pass meant for Noel. Noel gets through the tackle there of Willemse, and Noel's away. Kwagga Smith comes across. The tackle, that man again, Mostert. He's been everywhere. What an engine he's got. Here's Ellis Gaines.
Now you go.
On there to Farrell. Sam Simmons just spinning through the tackles. Faf de Klerk, I think, has hurt his Achilles or his calf. So South Africa effectively down to 13 for a while.
Go on, go, tap and go. You have to.
Well, I think there might be a stoppage. Faf de Klerk is sat down. Well, the referee's let it go. And there goes Farrell. Tackle there from Khaleesi. Now England do get their try. And it's Henry Slade. South Africa down to 13. Faf de Klerk still writhing in agony over on the far side.
Lo and behold, again, let's take a leaf out of the playbook from New Zealand. The kick past Noel is getting so frustrated. He just burst through 2 tackles there. Willemse and his Kriel wasn't initially right into the midfield looking for people, and then I just said, well, go, tap and go. My goodness me, Farrell makes a half break through the middle. Again, just recycle. Slade just sees that, just step, score. And the stretcher, we believe, has been called on for Faf de Klerk again. He won't want to go off this pitch in a hurry, if you see what I mean.
Well, Jaden Hendricks is already on to replace him.
Thanks, mate. Sorry.
Absolutely crucial kick this if England doesn't stand any chance of getting back.
The water break.
And Farrell has made it worth 7, and we will have a brief stoppage to allow Faf de Klerk to leave the pitch.
Well, we just need 2 converted tries now. Again, it's about the right time, and it's 72, 73 minutes. They've just got to catch this ball. Faf de Klerk, again, he's still on the pitch, so they're not going to start this game until he's off the pitch. Slade scoring. Again, it's easy, isn't it? When you get a good, quick ball, it's a numbers game. Just coming back in. Over he goes. So they're taking a water break. Well, goodness knows where this stretcher is. Eddie Jones can't believe it. Faf de Klerk is there. You could have carried him off by now.
Well, it looks rather like Achilles or lower calf. That's where it happened.
I think he got his foot caught round with Will Stewart. Just come in.
Yeah, but I think it was a stray boot, wasn't it?
There you go.
Sorry, mate. I've also got issues on my side of scrub time as well. So, you know, if you're seeing that, just send it in.
So it's the last 8 minutes of the South African season, certainly as far as these players are concerned. The international season, of course, some of these players will be involved in the United Rugby Championship, although I suspect 1 or 2 of them will get a bit of a rest. We do have the European competition as well.
And we do have another camera 1 angle of Faf de Klerk on the floor, and he just put his thumb up to his teammate, so I don't think it's too serious. He's playing the game. I'm sure he has got an injury, so every situation is going to be taken into consideration. But he's just letting his guys have an extra couple of minutes breather. There's 14 guys in South Africa, been down to 14 now for what? When did he get to? Is it 20 minutes or so? So they'll be feeling it. Surely England can't come back as they did last week. They need 2 converted tries to draw. 2 converted tries. Possible? Obviously. They showed us that.
Yeah.
There's Dion Fourie, the water boy, maybe passing on 1 or 2 messages to Siya Kolisi.
Is he going off for a hire?
Well, what I'm seeing on my side is when it's...
Well, it looks as if Kolisi's leaving us.
You won't want to go up. Obviously, it is serious.
Well, this is an interesting situation here because South Africa have emptied their bench. So Jacques Nienaber just sending out 1 or 2 instructions. Eben Roos is preparing, but he's already been replaced. We're going to have to check quite what the nature is of Siya Kolise's injury.
Well, it's got to. Well, it's serious because he's not been allowed to carry on. So I would suggest it's a HIA. It's the showman. What a player! What a player! He thinks the job's done. It ain't quite. I was thinking that last week. There's the thunder. He's a player and a half.
Well, we've got another official on there who appears to be discussing things with the South Africa doctor. Kolisi is coming off and Eben Roos is coming back on.
Yeah.
It is a head injury assessment.
It had to be. Again, on the right, you know, it was the right way of doing it from the South African situation. They don't look at how serious it is. 8 minutes to go. You want your captain on the no. Sorry, mate, you've got a head injury. You're off.
Manie Libbok with the restart. Sam Simmons gathers it. 7.5 minutes to go. Eben Etzebeth, we're told, has assumed the leadership role for the Springboks. All or nothing for England. Jack Nowell just having to break his stride there to go back and gather that. A tackle there from Frans Malherbe in his second stint out there. Here's Farrell. Farrell onto the try scorer, Henry Slade. Johnny May. May started to come into his own last week at this particular stage. There's the hero, the unlikely one from a week ago. Will Stewart, 2 tries. Manatu Alangi. Oh, and then it's lost by Slade. Did that go forward? The referee says yes.
We're just not comfortable playing this game, I'm sorry. The crowd can boo, but it's gone forward. The ref's been pretty good today. Angus Gardner, he's had plenty of help, plenty of advice from certain players. But again, everybody, South Africa are going to flood up. You need somebody with a little step, a little sleight of hand. See, that has gone forward because he's touched it.
Please, off. Excuse me. Come here.
Forcing the game.
Well, there's a bit of chat there, and I think it's Johnny Hill.
Again.
Listen, you're not the referee. Thank you.
Well, I suspect the plan here from South Africa will be a big scrum, trying to force a penalty, and then
Okay, boys, no lean. No
look for
lean.
3. That'll be the plan.
I would concur. You great rugby-minded guru.
Jump on the
Yeah,
line,
of
wait
course.
for my call. Hit.
They don't want this ball going down. They're down to 14 guys.
Stable on the hit.
Again, this is what they love doing in South Africa. Scrummaging.
Bind. Set.
That'll do them.
No, it's unstable, mate. It's unstable.
So somebody has to implement this law. I know I bang on about it, but the scrum law of time stopping the clock, because this will be another 60 seconds
Let's go again, please.
by the time they all get themselves sorted and put the handbrake on or whatever, and the seatbelt and belt and braces.
Boys, I need the gap.
There you go, just
on the bind, I need it stable.
He's
I need
a
it
live
stable
wire.
on the bind.
Yes, Hendrickse, who was first pick at the start of the season. Those test matches in South Africa against Wales, rather like Damien Willems, who was selected ahead of Billy Leroux, and for both Leroux and Faf de Klerk, it was a reminder that perhaps they required that they're not guaranteed a spot. Stephen Kitsoff finding it all rather funny.
He has taken the clock off now, yeah.
Boys,
listening.
It's late in the game, I understand, but I don't want stuffing around. You take a good bind, you keep it stable, we get on with it, okay? Don't shift, okay? Yeah.
Don't shift. I don't know how much he can shift. He's got that much weight coming through him. But again, now the clock will be on. We got 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes to go. This is where England don't want to be in the position on the field, do they?
Yep.
Two
Let's go,
converted
guys.
tries to
Okay,
draw
time back on.
even.
Crouch.
Are we going to see what we saw last weekend, last Saturday,
Set. Keep
under
it
the
up.
lights at Twickenham? Here we go. This will be cut. Oh, down again.
And look at the South African
Play it
scrum
away.
there.
Play it away.
Hendrickse on here to Willemse. Willemse tries to grub it through, it ricochets,
Okay.
and then the ball goes dead.
Knock on White.
There was a knock on off an England hand, so it will be another South Africa scrum, which suits the men in
You're
green
both
and
down on that
gold.
side, okay? I couldn't see it. Yeah.
Well, Will Stewart is down
Time
and
off.
clearly in a lot of discomfort, so we're going to have another, I think, fairly long break, and there's a very good chance that Carl Sinclair is going to be recalled here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's come down from the scrum,
Yeah,
obviously.
both down on your side.
So everything now will be. He's okay. His shoulder.
Okay, both down.
I think he's holding his shoulder, so that's a good sign. It's not a neck
What's that? It's a
injury.
knock on the ground, so it's a scrum South Africa restart here.
There you go. The referee scrum South Africa is exactly where they want to be. A little bit closer to the try line. Again, it was another good scrum. He's going off. He's not long. He's done something to his shoulder.
Scrum green. It was a knock on the floor.
4 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it will be.
4
yeah.
minutes.
Well, Carl Sinclair getting stripped off. There he is.
He's nice,
Okay, he was,
nicely
hanging
cooled
off
down
into
now, and
the-
he's got to go into. He's got to go into the scrum. That doesn't look good. Again, the
tactical
best
off.
medical
Number
attentions there. They've got a
3,
fantastic
White.
background
Okay.
through in the
Okay.
West Stand here. So again, all the attention will be given him. Here we go. I think we can officially say now this game is buried.
Well, you don't often see this. Looking in the North Stand at Twickenham, and people are streaming out. Look in the background.
Okay, come up. Here's the mark.
Tickets at Twickenham don't come cheap.
There's no magic test
Yeah, I'm
this
happy with
weekend,
that. I'm
Eddie.
happy with that.
That man,
Straight on.
Nidaba, you've got to give him absolute
Okay,
credit, and I hope I pronounce his
Stable,
surname
please.
correct.
Control your weight.
I'm not as good as you,
Go.
Mr. Gillingham, with your Afrikaans. I didn't live out there, but he's done a great job, you've got to say, with all the stuff that's going on about Rassie and this, that and the other. We're not going there. I'm not going there. I'm just going about performance on the pitch. Well, they played for somebody today, South Africa, I can assure you that. They played the right game.
Play it.
Referee urging South Africa to play it. Here's Hendrickse. Hendrickse pokes it through. Dialindi's trying to get after it.
Go on.
But the touchdown there from Sam Simmons.
But
And it
again,
will be a goal line dropout, but look at that clock. Just 3.5 minutes remaining for England.
got to go 5 metres.
5.
Once again, Mostert was there, and it's Tuolangi. Well, South Africa
Hands on the
hands ahead of the ball at the breakdown. Farrell has no time to waste.
Go, boys. Hold the gap.
It has been
Hold there.
a
Hold the gap.
bitterly disappointing evening for England. Just one win is going to be their return. Well, we've talked him up, haven't we, Franco Mostert, and as you can see, he is the player of the match, and Henry Slade sees Manie Libbok coming up at him, loses it forward, but South Africa were offside.
When did he start
Slade
moving,
hasn't seen
Pierre?
the decision. It was offside, yeah. He has been
Did he start
unbelievable,
moving
that
as the
lad.
ball was thrown? Okay.
Mostert,
All right.
just 3 carries, but it's just 8 metres. But that doesn't, again, stats sometimes totally lie. His
Let's do it. Send him
commitment
on.
is just his ability to win line-out ball, to disrupt line-out ball, and he's wore it on his sleeve today, his heart on his sleeve. England now one last chance.
Don't shut.
South
Don't
Africa
shut.
making a change.
Go.
Kurtley Arendse leaves the pitch with 2 minutes to go. Bit of a hobble, but what a figure he's been this autumn. And the throw-in is not straight,
Australia.
and that just about puts the tin hat on things for the men in white.
Start the car, that's it. Right, something's got to be done about this, about the setup or whatever. England, again, haven't performed. They got away with it last week
Okay.
by New Zealand imploding with the lead. South Africa are just far better, they're
Okay,
more
well,
professional.
Yeah, it's
the chance they're on when they have to. And it's balance. It's having a balance. It's giving you your smallest. Look at him. How big is he? In a land of giants, in a game of giants, he's turned the game on its head. He is a superstar. Where's our superstars?
Crouch. Bind. Set. It's around.
So we're going to have to reset that. We're into the final minute.
Go round.
Final minute. South Africa know the rules. If it goes round a little bit like that and it's not going full tilt, they'll have to come back for another reset. That must be the 37,000th today.
The camera focusing there on Keenan Moody, who's actually the youngest player involved today. Still just 20. Made quite a start of his Test career when he scored against Australia.
I think there may be a party somewhere in London tonight. In the green and gold, the Bokke party. They have totally and thoroughly deserved this win.
Time on. Crouch.
And really, they haven't had to do that much, I don't think. You know, a bit of bravery, a bit of brilliance, a lot of grunt, but that's South Africa. That's a penalty. They'll take it.
And here goes Dialindi. Manie Libbok, chance to show what he can do, and believe me, he's a special talent. Here's Willemse. Well, that ball going forward.
Okay.
Willemse might feel that maybe
No,
it's ricocheted there off an England hand, but
guys, you've run 50 metres,
clock.
60 metres.
moving up to 80.
Yeah?
We will have one more play.
Here we go.
The rain
Here we go, time off.
starting to fall again,
Let's go, please, boys.
and that in
Here
itself
we go.
a metaphor for this Autumn Nation series for England. They will finish it with just one victory against a very out of sorts Japan. They lost to Argentina, they beat Japan, they got out of a really tight spot last week against New Zealand, but the world champions, depleted as they are, have been utterly ruthless.
Bind. Set.
The put in there from Ben Youngs. Here's Slade. Oh, and that doesn't even go to hand. Not much has gone right for England. Sam Simmons getting caught. Evan Russ getting himself over the ball. England will play to the final whistle. That man won't give up. There goes Stewart presenting it. There's another Leicester Tiger, Ben Youngs. Tom Curry.
Good. There it is. A lifting clear out by 5 wide, is it?
And there's Jack Noel. It's a penalty against England.
Lifting clear out.
Well, that's it. Now everyone's off their feet and they're going. They're leaving. They're leaving Twickenham
Over the top of
in
the
their
ruck.
hundreds.
Number 5.
Well, Johnny Hill, who's had a couple of horrible
Number 5,
moments
lifting
today.
over the top of the ruck.
He just needs to concentrate on his rugby,
Yeah,
not
just a
giving
penalty.
not giving the referee advice, everyone else advice. He's conceded 3 penalties.
Over here,
What's
22.
England's total? Is it 13?
22 over here.
The Bokke's given 12 away, but there again they were down to 14. That's a catch by Simmons. Nothing to add there.
Well, look at this.
What do you want to
South
do?
Africa
Do you want
could
to line
take the 3 points, but despite being a man down,
out? Where
they're
am I
looking to
going?
try and finish with a
Okay,
flourish.
over here. Come
I
over
don't
here.
think. Yeah, this is.
Here's the mark. Thank you.
I'd go for 3.
You ready? What are we doing? Go for touch?
Oh, I admire them if they
You're
are.
going for touch. Okay, let's go, please.
He's going for touch. Why not?
They've got the foot in the throat.
Oh, and he's missed it.
Oh, he's missed
That's
it.
game over anyway.
Well,
Is that full time, Daisy?
not a great way to finish the match there for Manie Libbok. But a depleted South Africa have ended their long wait for a win at Twickenham against England. 8 years of hurt brought to an end by the world champions. And frankly, it hasn't been much short of a rout, and much to contemplate there for Eddie Jones. Final score at Twickenham, England 13, South Africa 27. Well, Eddie Jones will go down the steps. He may have a few lines, pre-prepared lines to deliver when we have the post-mortem. But let's be frank, it has been a horrible day for England.
I don't know what he can say. Again, it's South Africa B in a sense. They've got that many frontliners out. These guys are paid a large sum of money, and I'm including the coaches and the players. Well, the coaches coach the players to play a style, and unfortunately the style is absolutely not there. So I'm lost for words. Last week I didn't think England could get back there, and that papered over the cracks. There is a seismic crack opened up around Twickenham. I haven't heard boos like that for some considerable time. Those faces say everything to me. England looked differently the way they played in patches, little bits when they had to play. They look different. They can play the ball at the contact, the offload. But we have got such a pedestrian midfield with Tuilagi there, and you've got, with Farrell there. Farrell ain't kicking goals. That's it. A nice sight there, two South Africans.
Yeah, two old Western Province teammates there, David Ribbons and Siya Kolisi. Eben Etzebeth, the evergreen Eben Etzebeth. What a fantastic year he's had.
But you've covered him, mate. I've covered him. But was that really hard work for the Springboks? No, really wasn't, was it? England didn't put a squeeze on him in the scrum. They didn't squeeze him in the line out. They definitely didn't squeeze him in the midfield. So, it has been coming. Things need to be done. I know it's nothing will change at the top going into the World Cup, but we do need to flick a switch as far as at least entertaining the crowd. Just one clean break for England throughout the game. Right, that says.
And when you consider they played the last 20 minutes with a one-man advantage.
Yeah, so it actually gets worse. And it doesn't really matter what Eddie Jones says, because I don't believe a word of what he says. But all I can say is this South African team went out to play for somebody today, whether it was themselves, the family, or whatever, but they played collectively. They have a balance about them, a very good balance. They're strong, they always will be. They always play a style of rugby, but they have balance. They're working it up.
Well, you talk about who they play for, and you can say what you like about Rassie Erasmus, but he's a totemic figure for South African rugby, and certainly for the 23 players involved today, and he'll be watching from somewhere. It may not be the laundry basket, which Eddie Jones was joking about before, probably more likely the Linsbury Hotel down in Teddington, where the South Africa team have been based this week. But that's how much it means to Jacques Nienaber. It's probably their best performance of the year. Let's catch up now with the player of the match. Speaking.
Well, Franco, you won it well, that game, comfortably on top of England. How pleased with the manner?
We're happy with the win. We knew it's going to be tough in Twickenham, a full stadium. We knew it was tough. We knew we have a hard week. And we just worked hard this week on the simple things. And I think credit to the England boys. It was a tough match, but yeah, we enjoyed the win.
There was a lot of talk of England wanting to take it to South Africa up front, but you really did a shift the forwards. How pleased with that?
Yeah, I must say, congratulations again to us. I think it was a hard game, like I said previously. The forwards, hats off to them. We worked hard this week. We had a hard conversation with each other, and I think it paid off.
You had a couple of narrow defeats on this tour to France and Ireland. How much have you grown as a squad over the course of this month?
Yeah, I must say, if you lose by 2 points against Ireland or France, 2 points, it's never good to lose, but you learn so much out of it, and I think we've got so much depth. All the young boys coming through. We're working on that for next year, so hopefully we're doing well next year.
Have you got a spare steak handy, because you might need it for that eye?
No, we will see what the hotel made us for dinner, but probably they will make us some steak and chips.
Let's hope so. Put it on your face, don't eat it. Well done, congratulations.
Thank you so much, thank you.
Yeah, South Africans tend to eat steaks rather than put them on their eyes, but you know what Sonia McLaughlin meant there, the reporter pitch side.
I don't think he'll have to pay for it either. Again, the faces are glum, aren't they? Shocked. But you can't, look, if you don't play any rugby, you can't be shocked that you're not winning. If your forwards can't absolutely smash people in front of you, if your kickers off, and Farrell was today, you know, missing two, you know, you don't build a lead, and that's England's only way of winning. As far as I can see, we haven't got the pace in the midfield, and that's a big issue. No place in the midfield.
Well, Siya Kolisi, who led South Africa to their World Cup triumph against England 3 years ago. We'll hear from him in a couple of moments' time. Just John Smit as captain.
Well, Siya, many congratulations indeed. It was a really dominant display. How pleased to end your season on such a positive note?
No, yeah, it's a big relief for us. We've been working really hard the past month. I know some results didn't go our way, but we always stayed true to who we are, you know, the way that we play. And yeah, we're so grateful to have the kind of support that we're getting from back home. They haven't stopped supporting us with messages week in, week out, even though the results don't go our way, but they've been behind us the whole time. So this was for the people back at home.
South Africa look against England here like a more complete team. How much work has gone into moving your game forward as you look to defend the World Cup?
No, England was good. They were tough at the beginning. You saw how tight the game was, but we just stuck to our guns. You know, you can see by the way we play, we just tweaked a few new things, and we said, you know what, we'll risk it all because, you know, it's worth it. You know, we need to find answers before the World Cup, but at the same time respecting them and playing in the right areas of the field, but taking opportunity when it's there. It's not much big of a difference. It's just that now we are seeing a lot more opportunities than we did in the past.
I think you've got a real star, haven't you, in Kurtley Arendse. His try was a thing of beauty. His little step round Marcus Smith. Give us your appreciation of him.
No, we're grateful for him, and that's the whole thing about our team. We're all different. We all bring something different in our team, but the one thing that we have together as a team is effort, physicality, and just work great all day long for one another. And then after that, you bring who you are. That's the whole reason why he was selected in the team. Guys like him and Cheslin and Damien Willemse, they can be who they are. They can play on instinct. And the rest of us, we just keep on working hard and create opportunities for them.
You looked like world champions out there today. How well placed do you think you are to defend that title in 10 months' time?
Well, we've tried a few things. We feel, you know, there's still a lot more we can do, but, you know, we're going flat out for it as a group. We wouldn't be going if we didn't think we were able to defend it. And it's going to be tough, and we face a lot of challenges this time, but I really think we've learned so much about our team, and we've gotten a lot of answers in a lot of questions that we probably would have had going forward. So going next year, I'm hoping that there's not a lot that can shock us as a team because of all the challenges we face during this time.
It was great to watch you today. Well done, Siya.
Thank you so much, Memo. Appreciate it.
Well, it's been a mixed year for the Springboks. Didn't manage to win the Rugby Championship despite having both matches against the All Blacks at home, but I guess when you consider how depleted they were coming today, this their performance of the year. Well, much here to talk about for the England captain. Here's Owen Farrell.
Owen, you've been in a few huddles in your time. After ending your season on that note, what was the main message you had to give to your team?
Just that we stick together. Obviously, it's not worked out for us today. We weren't able to show the best of ourselves, but we've put some good work in over the past 5 weeks, and we make sure that's not for nothing.
Why didn't it happen today? Look, cleverer men than I have been talking in commentary about just a lack of cohesion. Would you agree with them?
A lack of accuracy at times, probably a bit of bite at times. Game was fairly slow at the start, which they're very, very good at, and we kind of didn't sink our teeth into anything much like that Argentina game at the start of the campaign, and we've got to look to be better in them situations.
I know it's not your area of expertise, Owen, but did South Africa just dominate at scrum time, which didn't give you a platform?
No, it's obviously that's a big part of the game and a part of the game, but there was plenty of areas that we could have been better at today.
You missed a couple of early kicks, which would have got you onto the scoreboard. Is the ankle a problem, or was it just an off day?
No, I'm all right. Just a couple of bad kicks.
Okay. Where does this leave England, Owen? Because you've now lost more games this season than you've won.
Yeah, hurting at the minute. Hurting after this game. This was a chance. This was a chance to finish off our autumn well, and we've not done that. But you know, this team will learn from it. This team will come back strong.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Morocco's good.
Well, Jacques, many congratulations. That was a really dominant display from your team. How pleased with the manner that you've ended your season?
No, listen, yeah, I'm glad for the boys. Obviously, I thought we put in some hard work during this month, and it's nice to end it off in a way like this.
Yeah. I know you're adding extra little dimensions to your game, but tell me how pleased you are with the way that your pack went again, because they really did give you a platform against England.
No, listen, and I think that's probably, if you want to play against England, you need to be dominant at that phase. They were dominant last year, and we had something to prove to ourselves, I think. So yeah, very very pleased for the forwards. They laid a great foundation.
Yeah. Defeats against France and Ireland early on in this tour. How much have your squad grown, if you like, over the course of this month?
No, I think massively. You know, to play the number 1 and 2 teams in the world, it was a great marking for us. We knew this end of year tour is going to be massive in terms of looking to where we are going into the World Cup. And like I said, I think we're not far off of being contenders, not there yet, but building towards it.
You've got a little star, haven't you, in Kurtley Arendse. His try was gorgeous. I think that's the best way of describing it. How pleased with the way he's developing? No,
listen, he's coming on leaps and bounds, you know, and that's probably one of the things that, and our second test against Wales, we made 18 changes, and if we didn't, we lost the test match against Wales, but if we didn't do that, a guy like Kurtley Arendse or Kainan Moodie wouldn't have been playing today. So, yeah, no, very proud of him and how he's progressing.
You've got some incredible forwards. I mean, Eben Etzebeth still keeps rolling back the years and producing performances the way he does. Another one, Franco Mustard today. I mean, he looks like he needs a stake on his face. He's been in the wars. How lucky are you to have players like that? No, yes, very much so, you know. And if you think about, we still have a guy like R.G. Snyman out with injury and a guy like Lou de Jager out. So there's big competition in the second rows, if I can put it like that. And that competition is always, it's good, you know, it keeps everybody on their toes. See, Khaleesi's eyes just lit up when I said, you know, how ready are you to defend this Rugby World Cup? And he was like, yeah, come on, we want to do it again. How close do you think you are to being the complete team?
No, I think we still need some work, but I think we're a little bit closer to where we were end of last year in terms of squad development, in terms of getting some ownership in some of the younger guys, getting some leadership responsibilities to other people. So I think the squad has grown. Maybe our results wasn't great, you know, in terms of the performances, but yeah, we're building on nicely.
Well done to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.